Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And we're here with Tim's Nation to give you another Warhammer 40K battle report. Last week, we brought the Imperial Agents and Necron all character list out here. And sadly, the Imperial Agents were a little worse for wear after that matchup.
Yeah, it wasn't a great game for them.
But have no fear. We are working on it, working on something special, and seeing about getting some Imperial Agents back here on the channel again soon. With the second coming of the Imperial Agents.
Yeah, we'll try some things. There's a bunch of options in the codex, a bunch of things you can try. A lot of it looks cool in the book until you actually put it on the table, and sometimes it just doesn't do what you want it to do, but we'll keep trying it.
And I think one of the big issues with it is, too, Imperial Agents kind of, in this aspect of them, almost seems like a brand new army. And when you look at it, then you have the purchasing of like, oh, you look at an army, it's like, oh, I could run a bunch of the breachers, and then the cost and the consideration of the points per dollar for an army that's theoretically new that also may not be around for that long too. So it's like it's really a hard army to just like look at some of the stuff and invest into because of that factor. And you know, I do have a buddy of mine that has some guard that I was like, I could just convert these guys up a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely an army that there's a paywall, and even so, that what you're getting really isn't worth it in some sense.
Yeah, and like you said, you have no idea what will happen next edition. They might forget about the codex, forget that it existed. Who knows? So there will be a lot of proxying next time we bring it.
Yes,
just like there was some proxying.
No, I like to call it, instead of proxying, I like to call it cosplay. We got cosplay.
Yeah.
Because today I got a couple cosplayers on the list that I'm bringing today, which is going to be Necron Hypercrypt. But this ain't your daddy's Hypercrypt. Oh no, oh no. We are Catan-less. Catan, you believe it?
Was I supposed to laugh there? Sorry.
Somebody laughed. Someone laughed. Or they smiled. At least I got a smile or an eye roll. I'll take an eye roll. 3 eye rolls for the smile.
Eye roll for sure.
And Lane is playing Deathwatch. No. Lane is playing Space Marines.
It looks like Deathwatch.
Yeah. All right. As always, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell to get notified on all the content we bring here on the channel, including our in-depth army breakdowns where we talk about these lists and what we're bringing. Mine is a little bit of fan support for it. So that's where my list comes from. G. Runker. I cannot pronounce these sometimes names on the channel. I cannot pronounce them. I do apologize. But hopefully that's yours, and you can kind of maybe give me a pronunciation in the comment section. You know what we're talking about here. That is 30 Deathmarks out of Hypercrypt. Should be interesting. And Lane did bring some characters for me to snipe. So
yeah, he asked for a few characters. So.
I did. I wanted a couple of those. So Lane, let's talk about these Space Marines that you're bringing today.
So today's list is Ultra Marines in the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment. So if you want, like DJ said, if you want to check out or get more detail on how I put all this together, check out our individual army videos. But for now, we're just going to do a quick run through here. So we've got 4 characters. Got a captain with jump pack, a Judiciary. We've got the lieutenant in Phobos armor. He has the 1 enhancement in the army, which is the Ghost Weave cloak, so that he has both lone op and stealth. And then we've got Uriel Ventress, who's going to give the Devastator Centurions deep strike. For battle line, we've got 2 5-mans of assault intercessors. We've got 1 5-man of assault intercessors with jump packs. We've got the 6-man Devastator Centurion squad with the twin link las cannons and Centurion missiles. We've got a 6-man Eradicator squad, a 6-man Plasma Inceptor squad, a Land Raider Redeemer bringing all the heat, and then we've got 2 Whirlwinds. DJ, what are you bringing today?
Sounds good. Okay, so here is my Necron Hypercrypt. So like I said, there's no Catans in this list. I think Catans have been very, very dominant in the meta. We'll talk about that in a minute because we're going to talk about what I did bring. So first and foremost, we have the Silent King. Big anti-infantry stat line on him. And of course, the Rocks still have their good anti-tank fire. Good buffs out of him, all around solid piece. 2 Catacomb Command Barges for some shooting. 3-man squad of the Locust Heavy Destroyers for more anti-tank. We have, like I said, 30 Deathmarks. Now, 2 of these are going to be cosplaying Necron Warriors as Deathmarks for 2 reasons. 1, I don't have 30 Deathmarks. And 2, I want to make sure to keep these guys separated so that I know who's dying where, what units to go back into until I figure out a better way to do it if I were to actually have 30 Deathmarks. 2 Hexmark Destroyers, 5 Immortals with a Chronomancer. Chronomancer will have my enhancements, allow me to pick up 1 additional unit. Then we have the 2 Canoptic Reanimators. I have 10 Lich Guard, led by a Overlord with a Translocation Shroud, 5 Flayed Ones, and 1 solo little Locust Destroyer. Nothing special on him. He's just 30 points, you know, cheap, absolute cheap.
That's why I brought Whirlwinds.
Just snipe that little dude off there.
Yeah, the Whirlwind thing is I figure a lot of people are not used to playing against Indirect because it's been nerfed so hard. And because the way I built my list, I don't need to give other units Oath of Moment. So I can just have them Oath something for them to shoot at and pick up the little scoring units and any kind of infantry that are hiding behind walls and things ready to come out at me. There's more kind of an anti-Blood Angels tech because it's strength 8 with their indirect fire. They're wounded most T4 stuff on 2s. So the idea was that if somebody's staging up behind terrain where I can't see them with direct fire, I can put a couple Whirlwinds into them and do some damage there. But also it's perfect for picking up the little trash units, the little scoring units.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, so one of the things, like I said, with my list, typically Hypercrypt has been running a lot of Catans. And even after they got nerfed, still running a lot of Catans.
Mm-hmm.
And they're tough, they're durable, we know they're durable. I feel like this is more the spirit of Hypercrypt. And the funny part is, I say this is a spirit of Hypercrypt, but if you look in the codex or you look on the app, the image for Hypercrypt is a picture of the Void Dragon. Mm-hmm. So it's like even GW is like telegraphic, hey, just use Catans. But I mean, the Catan builds work. Obviously, they win, they crush. I don't think we need to test that. And I think eventually over time, people will start figuring out ways to get around Catans. Mm-hmm. So I don't necessarily, so I feel like looking into other options with Hypercrypt like this could be valid. The Deathmarks do actually have a really strong amount of firepower. It's just when you take 5-mans, not that good. 10-man, not that good. 30, now we're starting to talk about what you were doing with your Vanguard. With your Stern Guard,
yeah.
Where it's just like you have so much redundancy that if one of those units go hot, you can just end your opponent's entire game. Mm-hmm. Now, on a side note, before we actually roll the dice to determine all our fancy schmanciness, this week I actually did play a game that we didn't record between Nico and myself. Nico, friend of the channel, we see him on here a couple times. He has a beautifully painted Thousand Suns army, and he has been rocking them pretty much all edition.
He won a GT in Cam.
He was 9-0 for 2 weeks. He had 2 back-to-backs where he was like, went or 9 or 8-0 or something like that. He had 2 hot weekends with those. Mm-hmm. But he has really been very dedicated to Thousand Suns, playing them like pretty much primarily. So he knows a lot of ins and outs with that list. So any game against him is always going to be a solid game. Thousand Suns are solid. Thought it'd be a valid test. So I played that Necron character list that I played last week. And I did lose, but I lost by only 4 points. So now it's making me think that this character thing might actually be real. Mm-hmm. So we'll mess around with that a little more. I got a laundry list of lists that I want to be bringing on the channel, one of which is the World Eater, so I can clear up some space to work on my photography. But right now, today it's Necrons. So let's step over here and grab this. Lane, you know the question. Odd or even, my friend?
Even, as always. Give me that even.
I'm getting crazy. I'm being a little odd. Get it? Uh-huh. So after I clean up this big mess that I made here, you can deploy first.
All right.
And we'll be back after I clean the table up. And
clean up after yourself.
And we are deployed. Lane, why don't you talk to everyone about what we are doing here today?
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Our deployment today is Hammer and Anvil, if you can't tell. We are counting staked out our deployment zones there. Our mission special rule today is Raise the Banners. If you control an objective with a battle line unit, at the end of your turn, you get 1 point. We can only do it on each objective 1 time. And then our mission, if you haven't guessed it from looking at the objectives in No Man's Land, it is the Ritual. So this is the one where we plant objectives. We get 5 points for each objective we control, but only the ones in No Man's Land. So our deployment zone does not count for primaries.
Yeah, so pretty straightforward. So for my deployment, first time running the list, so I don't really know fully what I want to do, and also the fact that I'm Hypercrypt, so a lot of it doesn't matter because I can just pick a lot of stuff up. So I honestly just basically hid because I want Lane to have to pick up the Centurions to really get into targets. Because most of his fire support was over here, the only squad that's out is a squad of Deathmarks. Again, Necron warriors in this list are all Deathmarks. Just keep that in mind. I'll keep saying that. But yeah, just squad of Deathmarks out there. I mean, they can get hit by a couple of things, but nothing that's really going to completely clear the squad. And in the same sense, too, things that could hit them are like the whirlwinds that it really wouldn't matter where they are because the whirlwinds could hit them anyways. So as far as everything else, we just got the Catacomb Barge on both flanks, Silent King back here. We had the Immortals hanging out right here so that they can move up and tag that center objective to put a banner on it. And the Lich Guard ready to just start moving up the table and planting objectives and stuff. So, all right, that's it for me. Lane, what do you got?
In Deep Strike, I do have one 6-man squad of Plasma Inceptors. Other than that, everybody's on the table.
Oh, yeah, good point. I do have one Reanimator, the single Locust, a 10-man Deathmark, the Flayed ones, and both Hexmarks in reserve. Apologize, that's a good point.
So I got a Whirlwind. I got a 5-man Assault Intercessor squad with the Judiciar, 10-man Jump Intercessor squad with the Captain, 5-man Assault Intercessors with Uriel Ventress. I got the Land Raider Redeemer with some Eradicators inside, and then the Dev Sense and the Whirlwind over here. Dev Sense are ready to step onto that terrain and shoot through it if DJ presents me with a target.
So in this matchup, what are you thinking? You want to go first or second?
Probably second, just so I can up you down any turn one and shoot something.
Hey, that's my line. So, all right, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel. I just want to go. I want to go second, so I can up down and get out of this corner. Because yeah, first time run list. So, roll high, Lane. No, that's not high enough, Lane.
That's you, sir.
Oh, sadly, it looks like I will be going first. All right. Well, do you have any scout moves?
No.
All right, then I guess the only thing left to do is say, it's time to play the game. All right, so Lane lied to us. Terribly, terrible Lane. He did, in fact, have a scout move. So, unfortunately, guys, that's where we end the video. Lane cheated, so that's immediately a game loss. Necrons 100, Space Marines 0. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.
That's the kind of content you came here for.
Exactly. Okay, so what really happened? So I got Extend Battle Lines and Containment. I already realized the mistake I made right off rip with this deployment and Relic. I should have had the Lich Guard all the way up on my line so they could have crashed the center, moved out, started dropping objective markers, all that fancy. However, we were still able to do some pretty neat tech with this. So unless you guys have something that says I can't, we move the Deathmarks up and they place the objective outside of my deployment zone. I control this objective marker at the end of my turn, and so I will be able to score Extend Battle Lines. So I will get that one. I'm not going to be able to get Containment, so I'll probably pitch it for a CP, which is sad because I might. We'll look into that because it's a 6-pointer, and actually I'm built very, very well for that one. So we'll see. Regardless, we do have some shooting. So we have both Catacomb Command Barges are within 6 inches of the Deathmark squad, so if I need to, I can Resorb them. The Lich Guard have their own Resorb. Silent King scooted over, just like kind of leered out here, so we protect from Centurions dropping in to shoot me. Yeah, I mean, protecting the King, I should say, a little bit. The Sets have 48-inch range, so I mean, if they really want to hit them, they can hit them. And then we are within range to give these guys +1 to hit. So we're going to... or not +1 hit, reroll 1's hit. So we're going to shoot this Land Raider and see if we can't make it go away.
And I did just double check this while we're talking here. Controlling an objective happens at the end of any phase or turn in which you have more OC on there than me.
And so, considering that I am the controlling player, I can choose when those resolve. So I can resolve to place I can resolve, okay, these are all end of the turn sequence, end of turn, end of phase, whatever.
Yeah, this completes at the end of your turn, so you choose that this completes before.
Yeah, I choose that to complete first. Then I choose to check if I check Extend Battle Lines. Cool. Yep. All right, let's shoot. All right, so before we shot, I made one minor change because I was thinking about it as I was putting these things down and doing this, and I didn't want to give that up right away. So actually, I moved the king back and hid behind the wall because I do not want him to get vaporized on the first turn from a whatchamacallit, from the Centurions. So instead, we just shot. And we hit with 2, wounded 1, so we only were able to do 6 damage to the Land Raider. And then, of course, the sniper rifles just kind of bounced off. So we'll end the turn with extend battle lines, and I will pitch containment to grab a command point since I spent it on a reroll to try to hit the Land Raider, which the reroll ones on the king wouldn't have mattered because I rolled a 2 on that other hit. So that's it for me.
I'm going to spend 1 Duppy Downy.
All right, Lane's picking up the sense. So we'll be back after Lane's movement.
I'll bring it down and extend battle lines. Bring it down would have been a little better later in the game. The only target I really have will be the Reanimator, so we'll see if we can do anything there.
Also, just to make a note of it, I changed my mind. I decided to keep containment. My army is really set up very well to score it as a 6-point secondary. So I decided to keep it. So instead, I'm only going to have 1 command point because I spent a CP on a reroll during my turn. So back to you, Lane.
We just scooched forward a little bit. I got the lieutenant here is going to plant this objective. And I've got the dev sense that dropped in here. My oath target is these. What are these destroyers?
Locust Heavy Destroyers.
Yeah, they took 6 wounds off of my Land Raider in the last shooting phase. I don't like that. So I'm going to see if I can wreck a couple of them. So do a little shooting, see what happens. So did a little bit of shooting. Used the Hunter Killer Missile from the Land Raider. Picked up one of these guys, and the Whirlwind picked up the other one and took him down to 2 wounds. So that, and then the Dev Sense with the las cannons picked up the Reanimator. DJ did spend the 1 CP.
Tried to go for that 4-up Embalm. Yeah, tried to stick it.
For the 4-up Embalm. Didn't quite work. 3 of them still got through, and I rolled pretty hot. Rolled 18 damage on my las cannon, so went pretty well. And then their missiles picked up 9 of these guys. It
was ugly.
Hex marks that were here, and then there was 1 left that the Whirlwind finished.
Oh, yeah, those missiles were really ugly.
Yeah, with the blast, they're really good into squads. Good squads. So we scored 2 for bring it down, 5 for extend battle lines. On to DJ's turn.
All right, here we go. So at the end of Lane's turn, I picked up the Silent King, the Deathmarks, 1 Catacomb Command Barge, and my Immortals. We had containment, and we picked up Bring It Down. Our plan is blow up the Land Raider and take as much out of it inside as we can. So we spent a command point to bring the Silent King down right here, just because he doesn't inherently have Deep Strike. Then we lined everything up. Got both hex marks over here to shoot at whatever gets out of that. We have the hex marks. I'm sorry, those were death marks. Hex marks over here to shoot at whatever gets out. They also have some lines of sight at the guys back there. Same with this Catacomb Command Barge. Reanimator's over here. He's going to start doing the action. So he's going to he's going to do containment over here. And then the Immortals are in position that they're actually able to run up on that objective after they shoot. And that's what exactly they're going to do. Over here, we brought in that single Locust Destroyer right over here. And he is going to contain on that side. Move the Lich Guard up just to wait for next turn and be in a better position to put down another objective marker or something. I didn't want to bring him out too far because I didn't want him to get hit by Land Raider because it was originally that's not what I was considering doing. And then the game plan changed. So yeah, I'm making some mistakes here. I should have kept moving the Lich Guard up since I was going so heavy at the Land Raider, but we're still making it through. We're making things happen. We're just being a little more cagey with the Lich Guard. Then over here, we healed. And then at the end of the movement phase, we pop the Resurrection Orb. So we have 2, 1 at full, 1 with 2 wounds remaining. All right, that's about it. Now we're going to shoot and try and see if we can't clean up this Land Raider right here. So I'm pretty sure I just lost the game right here. Not having one of my better standings. Maybe need to rethink this list a little bit, but we'll play it out and show how things go. But this did not go well. So we picked up the Lieutenant with the Immortals and moved up to tag the objective. The little dude's OC3 because of the Catacomb Command Barge. But that's not going to matter if the Land Raider's still there. Lane Armor of Contempt. I hit with both the rocks, and Lane saved them both. I got one Gauze Destructor through, which was able to take him down to 4, but the Land Raider's still alive. And as far as everything else, we picked up like 1 Marine in this entire pocket over here, and did 1 damage to a guy and 1 damage over there. So literally this turn, we really have done absolutely nothing. This is going to be really bad. I don't have a lot of confidence in this now. So the only thing left to do that I can think is, do I try and charge and punch the Land Raider? All right, well, let me do some measurements, and then we'll see what I decide to do. So I'm a bit sad right now. You can probably hear it in my voice because that's going to probably be the game now, unless I'm going to play it out. Because, you know, score and points matter. And even if you get a loss, you want to try and maximize points. And with Hypercrypt, the one thing we can do is score a lot of points. Unfortunately, we're about to take severely heavy casualties that are going to make it impossible to really recover. We did successfully charge with the Deathmarks. Now, out of everything, we slammed everything into it. And what does this do for us? Well, it just kind of prevents the Land Raider really from going forward to the objective. So that's really the only thing it does stop. And I think I might take this objective from you, actually. So maybe I knock you off some primaries, but that's about it.
Yeah, I'm OC5. So.
Yeah, you're OC5. I got OC3 on this one dude. And then I have 4 guys on there. So I got OC7, so I took that from you. So that's a positive. The other positive is for Bring It Down, we scored, nothing. For Containment, though, we will get the 6 as I was hoping. And I'm just going to pitch Bring It Down for a Commandular point and pass the turn to Lane.
So I pulled Cleanse and Engage in all ye fronts. So we're going to try and cleanse in the middle here. I moved up my jump intercessors here, and I did, DJ did Overwatch with these guys. They did pick up one of them, but the jump intercessors are going to try and cleanse here. These guys did come up here to charge into these guys if I need to. Dev Sense, just a little scooch-a-dooch, so 3 of them can shoot at the Silent King, who is my Oath target. Eradicators jumped out, got overwatched by Hexmark. One of them did die, so I lost 1 Eradicator there. And the Plasma Scepters struck here because they can deep strike anywhere outside of 3. And they're going to shoot the Silent King as well. So many shots going for the Silent King.
Also, just for these guys are actually on the bottom.
Yeah, they're actually on the bottom floor. Sorry, they scooched through the wall there. They only have a 4-inch move, so these 3 guys couldn't fit, so they'll have to shoot down here at something else. So shooting didn't do as much as we wanted. DJ was really down on himself, but
the king lives.
The Plasma Scepters fired away, and they picked up 2 of the 2 rocks right away. And then DJ just made a lot of 4-up embalm saves on the rest of the stuff because I put the Eradicators and the Dev Sense and the Whirlwind, all sorts of stuff into him. He's got 8 wounds left. So we did work to him, obviously, and rocks are not coming back to shoot me anymore, so feeling good there. But, yeah, that was that. So next, we shot a few other things. Didn't really do much. The Flamers here really kind of whiffed, low number of shots. And again, DJ made a save, so we only killed 2 of those Immortals. One of these guys, that's really it. One of these, from half the Dev Sense shooting here, only picked up 1.
Yeah, when you're not on an objective, it suddenly makes it safer to get shot by Centurions.
So, yeah, that's it. We're going to charge in a little bit here. We need to clear these guys off the objective so that I can complete my cleanse. Yeah, time to fight. We're dice tonight, guys. We did make our charge in, and we had to use the CP to reroll and bonk some of this squad away, and then the Eradicators picked up the rest of the Immortals.
And nearly the Chrono, too.
Almost the Chrono, so
just
did some work. So there are 3 of these Deathmarks spread out, failing coherency.
They are no longer in coherency.
Tell us what we're doing, DJ.
So this is a little trick I like to use. So originally I had
we got one here, 2, 3 guys.
1 here and 1 there. Yes. So originally, I prevented Lane from being able to pile in because there was guys over here. Then when he hit with the Land Raider, he picked up a bunch more. So I picked up everyone. So now we're completely out of coherency. So since we're playing Hypercrypt, what we're going to do is we're going to pick up this guy.
So at the coherency step, that guy dies.
And this guy dies. So now we're in coherency with that 1 model, which means I can pick him up and put him somewhere else and get him out of trouble right now.
And there's trouble.
Oh, yes.
So much trouble around here.
There's a lot of trouble.
All right, so that's the end of my turn. I just scored Cleanse for 1 and Engage, Baby Engage, because my Plasma Inceptors got in there. So small, 4 points. It's some score, not a 0, but we were blanked on primary. So it's going to be an interesting game still.
Yeah, surprisingly, I have to take back my original notion, even though Lane does still have a lot of weapons and a lot of control. Because the king did not completely die, I am still in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So my spirit is restowed. We have a shot. We have a shot, sort of, kind of, in a way. So for this turn, we're looking at overwhelming force and establish Loki. So we need to destroy units on objectives and drop blade ones here in the corner to establish a locus. Okay, cool. So what else we did? So for our turn, we picked up the Silent King, Catacomb Command Barge, Reanimator, and that solo Deathmark. And we put them all down over here. The trick I played with this was, at the end of my movement phase, I popped his Resurrection Orb.
So there was one guy left at the end of the squad. At the end of the turn.
Yeah, there was one model left. I spent a command point, so I was allowed to reanimate while these were in strategic reserve. So I got 2 back. We were at 3. Then I spent the Resurrection Orb on the Catacomb Command Barge at the end of the movement phase to hit them, and I stuck a 6. So I got 6 more back there. Then the Reanimator triggered, because a reanimation protocol activated, to put 3 more back in on the D3 roll. So yay, we got all of our guys back.
Yay, I'm so happy.
And they're battle shocked. They got them all back.
They were battle shocked, yeah.
They did get battle shocked. There's one dude left. His friends came for moral support. Literally. And then over here, these guys are within 6 of the Silent King. Let me double check that. I should be. I was, but I might have bumped them a little bit. But they should be within 6. And they're going to try and finish their job of taking out the Land Raider, because it does score me points for overwhelming force. So it's not just a vendetta. I promise there's more here than just a vendetta. Lich Guard moved up, and they're going to charge on the objective and try and mess some stuff up. And Mr. Locust moved over here just to tag the objective. These guys reanimated the guy back that died. They sat still, and we're actually going to try and do this whole snipey thing and see if we can't get rid of this Judicar, who has fight first. And then we're looking at a 6 on the dice for the charge into the jump dude. So we'll try and rely on that with our 1 CP we have remaining and go into that. All right, let's do some shooting. So the dice are going to continue to be weird, but some stuff is just scary. So Lane did spend a command point over here to Armor of Contempt, which with the Armor of Contempt, the stealth, and the cover made it that only 1 died from the King, the Ghost Star, or the Catacomb Command Barge, and the Deathmarks. We only took out 1, and that was from the Deathmarks. So
the T6 is a big deal too, because those Deathmarks are strength 5. So
the positive is, though, Lane spent his command points, so I don't have to deal with up-down Centurions. But yeah, that's going to be that's still only 1 removed. Otherwise, though, we did successfully with the Deathmarks kill a character. We picked up the Judicar, and then cleaved through a bunch more of them too. And then this Catacomb.
There is 1 left, though.
The Catacomb shot in there, and we did leave 1 guy with 1 wound. Chronomancer and the Hexmark shot over here. We got 1 guy down to 1 wound, and we picked up another model. So that's a positive. We're at least hitting these Eradicators until they punch us in the face. And we're going to do some charging now. So that's it for the shooting. Oh. How could I forget? The Locust Heavy Destroyers finished off the Land Raider. So happy days there. All right, enough talk. Let's charge. So successfully, we charged into here. We also charged that last little dude with the Chronomancer. And then we charged over here with the Hexmark. The Hexmark pushed through the final wound to finish off the Eradicator, and he's still good. Chronomancer picked up that last guy, barely. And then over here, spiked some saves when the Lich Guard hit. Really, really spiked saves. I did Armor Contempt for free with the Captain, but I'd still roll real hot on my 4-ups. Yes, very much so. And we cleaved a bunch of them, but unfortunately still left that Hammer. Did the Hammer get wounded? Yeah. Hammer's got 1 wound left, or Fist. Fist got 1 wound left, and the Captain. So we're going to have to deal with them later on. But we did take the objective away, which is a plus. And picked up took out that last little dude, so I picked up extra resources that Lane doesn't have. and stop these eradicators in their tracks. The plan was to kill these guys. I was in position, kill them, and then pile into the sense right over there. But unfortunately, we didn't kill the squad, so we couldn't pile in. So the Sents are free to move, but Lane did spend that command point during his turn. So now you can't pick up the Centurion. So that's it. All right. Over to Lane and his turn.
We've got Overwhelming Force and Sabotage. So just scooching around a little bit. We fell back with the captain and the last jump intercessor. They did pass their battle shocks. So they're solid there. Plasma Inceptors moved up here to shoot at these guys who are my oath target. I did lose one to Overwatch from the Silent King. And then move the Whirlwind up here. So with Overwhelming Force, I'm going to try and kill the Lichies and try to kill this guy. Or with that. It also make me feel better if I kill things. So let's see what happens. So the Plasma Inceptors took offense to the Overwatch damage they were dealt by the Silent King because they shot real hard into these guys. By themselves, they picked up 6 of the Lich Guard. So there's only one left. DJ did pop the Res Orb at the end of the phase to bring one guy back. But on that, the Dev Sense blasted real hard in here. I used the Strat for the extra AP and Ballistic skills. So they picked up the Deathmarks. This Whirlwind shot downtown here. Picked up the Destroyer, Lone Destroyer that was on this objective. Took that. And then the other Whirlwind finished off the lone character who's left there. Now we're going to charge into it with Dev Sense, which is hilarious. And also these guys in here. But it's very hilarious with Dev Sense. Charging into fight. They can do work, though, because they are Strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. So they're actually kind of the perfect profile to get under these guys. So we'll do a couple charges, see what happens. We charged up in the middle here. We fought. We killed the squad of the Lich Guard, but failed to pick up the character. We got him down to 2. He'll come back a little bit. And just a little bit of punching back and forth here, and the Hexmark's down to 3. So that's it. But did the Overwhelming Force thing. Sabotage, I'm probably gonna pitch Sabotage. Just to get a CP. So, on to DJ's turn.
All right, we are cleansing and attempting an assassination. So, for cleanse, we spent a command point to drop the flayed ones in, because we picked up the flayed ones, a catacomb command barge, and the Deathmarks. And these flayed ones are going to be the ones who are going to cleanse the middle objective. He moved up and he's going to cleanse this objective right here. And we are going to use this catacomb. Deathmarks that dropped in that are within 6 inches of the king. There's some in the building in the corner there. The king that moved up and he has artillery shots. And we're going to attempt to pick up and paste this entire squad. That's the goal.
The entire squad of 2 Marines.
The entire squad of 2 Marines and 1 guy that's damaged. This dude over here, who is still the Oath of Moment target, fell back, and Lane tried very hard, and my end ball tried harder. So we're alive with 1 wound. And that opens us up so that our Locust Heavies right down there, they're outside of 6 of the king, so they're not getting the reroll 1s. But they're going to try and see if they can't hopefully pick up a Centurion or 2. Maybe even 3 if we have a lucky day, because we did get all of them back now. That's right, all 3, because, yeah, the guy with 1 wound there. Yeah. So that's that, and it's time to shoot. Took a lot more than I'd like to admit, but we did pick up the character and the squad. So that will mean we get our 5 points for Assassinate, because it took the Catacomb Command Barge, whiffed. Armor Contempt helped. The Deathmarks, they were the ones who actually finished it home. So yay, I've killed 2 characters with Deathmarks today. But now he's dead. So that's going to give us our Assassinate and as well allow us to cleanse with this Catacomb. They will cleanse here. And then as far as the fight phase, we didn't have much of a fight phase because I didn't charge. So all it came down to was the hex mark over here where we both just punched each other in the face and got back up laughing. No damage at all from either side on anything. That's going to end my turn. I will get 9 on secondary and kick it over to Lane.
So we pulled Defend Stronghold and storm a hostile objective. So my Devastator Centurions are going to take this objective from these nasty little, these guys, these dudes, these flayed ones. We're going to block out this so that DJ cannot do the 3-inch deep strike and steal my home field objective so I can score defense stronghold. This other whirlwind's planting an objective right there, planting one. And then these guys are staying here because the plasma inceptors can, their guns are pistols, so they can just shoot that guy in his face. Then that's it. We have these guys over here. I don't know if we'll shoot at them or not. Probably not. We're probably just going to go blast everything into this catacomb command barge and then punch these guys in the face. On to my shooting. So with all those shooting here, the plasma inceptors did overcharge and one of them died, but we did pick up the hex mark. So, and then the eradicators were free to shoot over here at the catacomb command barge, but they did a little bit of damage, didn't quite finish him off. The Dev Sense had to shoot in and finish him off. Also poured a lot of fire. The Dev Sense also put their missiles into the Deathmarks. I forgot that if I didn't wipe the squad, he will be able to take this objective. I was trying to prevent him from taking objective. So didn't work. He'll be able to reanimate and get onto the objective there. And then we just charged the flayed ones. Didn't do a whole lot of damage. Picked up 3 of them. They'll probably reanimate back to full here at the end. But that was it for my turn. So scored Storm Hostile objective for 4, and then Defend Stronghold completes the end of DJ's turn. On to his.
Defending Ye Stronghold and Sabotage were the ones I got. So I only picked up the Reanimator. I could have left the Reanimator down and tried to hope to proc 2 5-ups for hit the Reanimation to try to bring a rock back, but I was like, that's slim odds. So we picked up the Reanimator, and he is going to go over there, and he's sabotaging. Barge stayed on the table. Locust Heavies moved up. Deathmarks, I spent a command point to auto-pass their leadership, reanimated only 1. But it was enough for him to get 5. So now it comes down to how can I stop Lane from scoring any points, because I'm going to get Defend Stronghold, maybe. Sabotage, hopefully, as long as the Reanimator doesn't die. So the only thing left to do is try to kill these Centurions to hopefully get this objective. And if nothing else, I hate them very much and I want them dead. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put everything into them and hope it works out. So we got some good revenge damage in here. Centurions are down to 3 models in there, and we beat one up from everything over here. And we did take out that 1 lone objectives control 2 guy if it ends up mattering for trying to hold this objective or stuff. All right, we're going to charge real quick and see if we can't do some more damage to these Centurions. And a swing and a miss from the Deathmarks, but we were able to crush one of the Centurions on the tank shock. No damage in combat from either side. All right, so that's going to finish up my turn. Hopefully survive for the Sabotage and Defend Stronghold, and see what Lane does to wrap up this game.
So for my final turn here, I pulled Recover Assets and Containment. As much as I would like to have done some damage in this last tournament, I had to do a whole lot of actioning. So we recovered assets with this Whirlwind, contained with that one, recovered assets with the Eradicators, recovered assets with these Plasma Inceptors. We went up in the middle here to fight a little bit, but both my Dev Sense and Aerial Ventress both failed their Battle Shock. So I killed a few infantry on the way in here, but wasn't able to take this final objective. So I did get 10 on primaries for that one and that one. So final turn here, guys. Remember a little while ago when DJ was all sad? He said he was going to lose because of how turn 2 went. Well, guess what? He did lose, but by 1 single point. So our final score here is Ultra Marines Vanguard at 65 and the Necrons at 64. Obviously, as close as a game can get, and kind of low scoring because neither one of us planted as many objectives as we should have early on. But very exciting game. Came right down to it. Everything counted. So follow us over to the post-game battle chat, and we'll talk a little bit how things went. See you there.